There are typically two causes for the oil indicator to show a problem. Either there's low oil pressure, or the oil pressure sensor or gauge has failed, causing excessively low or high pressure to be indicated. Take a look at this example of an oil pressure warning lamp and gauge. If the light flickers erratically, or comes on part of the time, or the gauge doesn't show a consistent low pressure, either there's not enough oil in the crankcase, or else the oil pickup is not consistently picking up oil. If the light stays on all the time, or the gauge is consistently low, it indicates very low oil level or extremely low oil pressure. If the warning light comes on, or the gauge reads low, the first thing you should do is check the oil level, which should be in the cross-hatched area. If it's extremely low, add oil. But if it's normal, you should check the oil pressure with a mechanical pressure gauge. Let's hook one up. You should always check the oil pressure with a mechanical gauge when there's any question about oil pressure. The mechanical gauge is only going to register if there's oil pressure. They can't get a short circuit like the electrical type of warning light or gauge. Also, note that the oil pressure gauge is usually attached where the oil pressure sending unit is mounted.
How should you check the oil pressure? Engine cold, engine warm, high RPM, low RPM?
Engine oil pressure is usually checked at 2,000 RPM with the engine at operating temperature. You can find out the exact conditions by checking the shop manual engine specifications. See? It's right here. The oil pressure should be 40 to 60 psi at 2,000 RPM with the engine hot in this application.
I never knew that spec was in there.
Well, you do now. Go ahead and start it up, John, and we'll check the pressure on this engine. It should still be warm from running in class. As you can see, it's well within specifications.
Yeah.
Go ahead and shut it off, John.
Okay. What are the main reasons for low oil pressure, JC?
There's quite a few, John. Let's go over to the disc player, and I'll show you there. In the first place, you should be able to hear a low oil pressure problem.
How's that?
Well, look here at this lubrication system. Look at the flow. It goes from the oil pump to the filter to the bearings, then to the lifters, and finally up to the upper end of the engine. In a low oil pressure situation, that oil pump probably will feed the bearings with enough oil to prevent damage for a while. But because the lifters and upper engine components are further down the line, they'll be affected first by low oil pressure.
So what you're saying is that I'll be able to hear the lifters and rocker arms clattering as one of the first signs of low oil pressure.
That's right. You're getting it. Now, these are the things that can cause low oil pressure: insufficient or excessively thin oil, high fuel dilution, a weak relief valve spring in the oil pump, a worn oil pump, excessive bearing clearance, a broken or cracked oil line, such as the one going from the pickup screen to the oil pump, obstruction in the oil line going from the pickup screen to the oil pump, or a defective oil pressure sending unit or gauge. Of course, you'd know if it was the sending unit or gauge after checking the oil pressure.
I'm curious what you mean by obstructions. What can obstruct the oil flow?
Well, it's anything that prevents the flow of oil through the engine. The most common is plain old sludge. Here, let's look at this oil pan. This is a real extreme example, John. Now, how's this for sludge contamination? When the drain plug was taken out of the pan, nothing came out. It was all sludge inside.
What caused this?
The owner of the vehicle probably didn't follow the oil quality recommendations or maintenance schedule. That's most likely what allowed the sludge to build up to this extent. Here's another example. Look at this pickup. It's totally clogged by sludge and metal particles.
Where did the metal come from?
From the pistons, rods, bearings, and other components. This engine was starved for oil, but the owner kept driving it until it came apart.
Wow, this is really bad.
Here, look at this cam. This lobe is wiped out. And compare these lifters. This one's all dished out. Probably no oil was getting to it.
No oil caused this.
Sure, or it could be poor oil or not following the maintenance schedule. It pays to follow the oil quality recommendations and maintenance schedule in the owner guide.